to survive. I'm not saying what I did was alright. Trying to break out of the ghetto was a day-to-day fight. Being down so long, getting up didn't cross my mind. I knew there was a better way of life, and I was just trying to find. You don't know what you do.
Like mine. Shit is all bull crap. I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to... I don't even know what to say. I'm 21 years, I elevated my family, come back, sit in here and write and do what I need to do until I can come back home. And people are supposed to help me, I hope you help me. If you can't, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love and I appreciate the people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
First Street, it might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all. Go.
YouTube. It's your homeboy Fat Rat Evolved, the original Westside Playboy Gangsta Crips. I want to help out with some perspective is all, man. I think a lot of the brothers, man, really mean well in what they're doing and covering the situation with Big U, man. I was listening to I'm not really a big Dame Dash guy, man, but I heard a clip that he was on, and he said he was trying to put together some game plan, right, for some business, and there was some difficulty in it, right, and some possible setbacks in it, and the dudes who was around him was listening to him. And as he was articulating the vision that he was experiencing and the beauty of the vision he was experiencing, one of the brothers interjected and interrupted him and said, man, that's going to be hard to do because of this, that, and the other. And the dude said, man, stop that, man. Don't interrupt me, man. I don't give a damn about that, man. Don't interrupt me while I'm dreaming, man. I felt that. And I don't think the circumstances for Big U was a dream for him to, lay these folks down. Let's just be clear, man. Let's just be clear, man. Anytime we want to offer some information, we have to control the narrative of that information. If we're public, we have a public responsibility, right? If we're Crips, we have a Crip-related responsibility. If we Bloods, etc., whatever you associated or affiliated with, and you're speaking on behalf of that, or even as an individual, right? Because everything we say, think, and do in life has a consequence attached to it, right? So, for instance, I could be online doing an analysis of the negative components of the RICO Act as it may possibly ill affect brothers' trial. I'm not going to do that, right? What I'm going to do instead is consider a few things. So let me roll this down because I want to read something to y'all from this top screen right here. And this is available online. You can pull this up. You probably should be able to see the address to it, but keylawyer.com gives you this, right? And it gives you kind of, if you don't understand the process. But I want to give you this, man. Listen to this, man. These are the professionals, and they're laying out some of the detail of those who have had success against the filing of the RICO Act. It exists. I know, and I know in our jump rush to analyze publicly what's going on with a RICO case as it relates to Big U, we get into the mud of it. And I don't know if, we understand getting into the mud has a negative connotation attached to it as well. We don't have to do that. Here's the proof that we don't have to do that. This is our focal point right here. This is where we should be, we who are advocates. The brother said he needed help. That's why I started off with him speaking on his own behalf, saying, help, man. Help me. Who's he talking to? That's what I want to ask. If you've thought about who is he talking to when he says, those who would help me, and then he comes in over that with, if you ain't going to help me, because he's falling into the thought that we're not going to come to his side or come to his aid or come to his help. And if you looked at that clip, that's TMZ in the some of the hashtags on that TMZ post talk about Diddy, right? What does that have to do with Big U and a RICO charge and a potentially, I believe, a murder charge? What does that have to do with Big U? So we're in this battle, and we don't understand. In some cases, we should, because we've been to war with each other. Who's good at that? We can condemn one another to hell, without provocation in some cases, man. But we haven't actually taken this enemy to task. We concede, we submit, we capitulate, we stand down when he aggresses. I've seen it, man. It used to piss me off, man. I'm like, I don't want to be a lone wolf. But what the hell, we out here with K's and 4.5s and drums and all of these type of weaponry for, and a black and white car hit the corner, and we throw that shit and every kind of dope and everything you can and hit a corner and jump a fence, man. It was, when it got to, I never was like that. If you know me, and some of my episodes, et cetera, I wasn't like that, man. When it got to the point of me pushing Playboy Gangster, man, the only ones who really couldn't get it from me was my homeboy. That was it. I'm not trying to incite anybody to anything other than a consideration of the fact that this is a war of words right now. This is a war to gain some form of control over public opinion in the areas that we can cover. So the only work we can do is what we can do, but we need to be found doing that from a conscientious standpoint. Like, wait a minute, of course there's details about this case, man. Come on now. There's no denying that. There's a lot of details. But that's the uphill battle of our brother, man. I'm hearing all kind of silly shit, man. I can't, excuse my language, man, but it perturbs me, it bothers me, man. Because if you know, you ain't talking like that, and in some cases, you may have just, it may be oversight. Oh, man, you're right, I forgot that part. All right? So my focal point is this. I want to talk about what this attorney describes as the psychological battle to give you a foundation of what brother may be in, right? It says the psychological battle of facing a RICO charge is immense. That means it's very large, right? Defendants, that would be Big U, often feel overwhelmed by the legal process. Stress can lead to anxiety and depression. Families also bear this heavy burden. Did you hear what he was saying about my family? Listen to this, man. Public perception often turns negative quickly. Sensational news stories can shape opinions before a trial begins. I'm going to say that one again because I think there may be we need to pin that point right there. I ain't got no damn pen. I need a system where I can pin a point, man. But listen, sensational news stories can shape opinions before a trial begins. This creates a challenge. This creates a challenge for defendants to receive a fair trial. The pressure from society can add to their emotional strain. The psychological battle. So I make a reference to those who take information and they're like a bull in a china shop. It's not that you're wrong, man. It's got nothing to do with right and wrong at this point. We'll figure that out later. Right? When you attack my homeboy, you attack a Crip, right? Who in this context has to be considered a homeboy. Because, listen, man, I'm going to say this one more time. And these are the things that we need to unpack and highlight to get ahead of the psychological battle in helping our brother. I don't think he's poverty stricken. I don't think he's destitute or without means. I don't think that's what he's yelling and what he's crying out about. Not yelling, but what he's crying out about. But listen, I believe that it's our shared burden and responsibility because the attack is on one of our own who was a father, is a father, a husband, a businessman, an activist, a beacon in his community, a builder. He's advanced several children's educations, gotten them into college on scholarships and different things with his programs, man. Let me and drum roll this point right here. Let me drum this. See, because some people did positive things, but they dissociated. I ain't no Crip, man. If I do that, then I'm gonna get the negative, right? Pub and all that type of stuff to make it damn near impossible to do. He didn't disassociate. He did all of that as Big U from Rolling 60s Crip. I'm gonna say that again. Associations, man. That's a battle in and of itself. You gotta be pretty tenacious, man, to take on a fight like that, to have the resources that you have like that, and not disassociate. What did Tookie say, man? They tried to make him debrief while he was in the midst of all of this positivity, man. Writing children's books and setting guidelines to do interventions and stuff in youth crisis and youth management. And they pulled him in a hearing and said, man, you got to debrief. What does that mean? You got to dissociate. And in the disassociation, you got to also tell who's who and what's what and who's doing what. You got to disclose information about the inner workings of certain entities or organizations that they're trying to get information about before we'll give you consideration into X, Y, and Z. And emphatically denied them the opportunity to demean him like that. No, I'm still Tookie, co-founder of the Crips. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. We have energy that can be transferred into something positive, man. When we're talking about Big U, and don't worry, man, because a lot of y'all don't get it, man. I get that. It's been like that. That ain't a new thing, right? I've been around people who didn't understand what was going on around them for all my life, man. And I was one of those people at one point. And if I'm called to the carpet and shown how I'm that person right now, I'll accept it. Truth has to prevail in my life, like, right? But there's some falsehood out here, man. Right? It's false to believe that you're helping Big U by pointing out the negativity of his Fed case when we don't have any information other than, like I said, what's in a information, right? In a indictment, on a document produced by the federal government, who are a cesspool of liars, emphatically on record liars. You trust this enemy, man. You don't know what an assault on a principle looks like. So when the enemy comes with something on some paperwork and a name on it, y'all ready to start killing people, man. I done heard all kinds of stories, man, about, where they work at. Let's get that work, right? And you trust that 100% wholeheartedly. What they putting on paper about Big U is going to be considered work. It's coming down to being work, right? And you're trusting that. You're doing it now. You ain't waiting. You trusting it now. He telling you it's a bunch of BS. But nah. Because what the white man said was, you done did some stuff that people don't get away with. And let me be specific about that. This is what I mean. Come on, man. You can't really intellectualize that. Going in that direction with the information, you can't intellectualize that. Right? We gotta stop, man. If you hold out any value for the car, I'm gonna say that Big U, man, is probably the foremost in setting the example of coming home, establishing himself as a father, establishing himself as a husband, establishing himself as a businessman, a community activist, and being a leader in the effort to improve the conditions and circumstances for children. That's the focus, man. It's 21 years, man. I've been on 21 years, man. What the hell you know about the inner workings of, the layers and the tiers of illegal activity that Big U was involved in? Did you get like some plugs or something from him or something? You don't know that. That's gossip, man. That's gossip, man. You don't know that. That is what gossip is. It's unfounded information. It's unfounded. So I'm just saying, man, at some point, man, we have to take on a little more responsibility, man, with what we say in light of the consideration that it's going to continue traveling, be careful what you say, man, because words travel. News travels, and bad news travels fast. What happened right there? Oh, went blacked out for a second. Bad news travels fast. So I'm just asking, man, I'm petitioning the homies, man. Can we not be a part of the negative information campaign? Can we do that? Can we fight with those who are making a conscious effort to demoralize Big U in public? I'm just saying, like I said, I know personally of some instances where he's reached out to empower other turfs, man, other hoods, other sets. I know it personally that he's done that. The thing he did for himself, he was reaching out to try to help others, man. And I want to say this, man. It was his decision to make, man, about turning himself in. But in a common and shared belief system, family, right, comes after the Creator, man. It comes after the Most High, man, in the pecking order. Not me, not I, family, right? You don't have any value other than that you concede time, you submit and sacrifice time and energy and effort in the service of others, man. That's the only real value there. All that self-aggrandizement, I got this, I'm doing this for me, it ain't about that, man. It's about how you can commit to the service of others, man, and it ain't easy. Especially when you're dealing with our people. And in some cases, we can't blame them for being that way, man. If you know our history, you don't do that. You don't blame us for being foolish and ignorant and misinformed and the way we are, man. But we can heal these. These are circumstances that we can improve on. If we just bear witness to the truth, adhere to the truth, man. The truth of the matter is, brother did a lot of good. In the name of Crip. That's just true. So when you come out and you a Crip specifically, you ain't talking about all that sucker stuff, man. I'm talking about you specifically Cripping. Like you may not be banging, but you in the car, man. You in the fraternal order of the homies, man. Think about it. I'm just asking that we give it a little consideration, man. What are we saying? And why are we saying it, man? Dry snitching is a whole nother thing, man. Dry snitching is a whole nother thing. Unintended snitching is a whole nother thing, man. It's not what you say, right? It's how you say it. It's actually when you say it. It's actually where you say it, why you saying it, and who you saying it to, man. Remember the 5 W's, man. Who, what, where, why, and when you're dealing with information. Remember that, man. So it's your homeboy Fat Rat Evolved, original Westside Playboy Gangster Chris, man. I had to come on here and cover this. We are about to hit the ground running, man. I got kind of a wrap around my studio and a handle on some of this thing, man. We're gonna fine tune the conference calling, the video conferencing is the last stage of what we're trying to hurdle, the last hurdle that we're trying to get over. So that should be tomorrow, and sometime this week we will resume, God willing, the foundation of Playboy Gangsta Crips, man. We're gonna bring that to you. Me and the big homie Jesse James, man. I've talked to a couple of other original homies too, man, and they may come and get involved in what we want to do first is document as best we can what the PBGs was about and how it started and some of the, some of the challenges that we face to become a name in the Crip Corps, right? So with that being said, man, remember, we are winners. We are all winners. We're on a 1,000-mile journey that begins with one step. One step bringing us closer to our success. With unity, man, unite. It's like our superpower, I keep telling you. And I'm going to keep telling you. With unity, we can accomplish all things. If someone ain't with something, let them move, man. You ain't gotta. I don't want to unite with anybody who don't want to do it like-minded. You ain't thinking the way, I'm thinking, or we should be thinking in a healthy thought process to get us across this damn terrain, right? To help us to navigate this terrain. We don't need no ignorant ass people with us, man. Let them be over there and do what they do, man. You're not gonna stop the Crips because you doing that. Crip can become a beautiful thing, man. It really can. We trained on each other. We did that. We ready. We battle tested. We gonna go. We got it. But we gotta unite now, man. All of our differences. One of my mentors, a brother named Coach Chiefs, man. Coach Chiefs was in that incident, I believe, when they went off in the adjustment center in Quentin, man, with George. Brother Comrade, man, they say. But he used to say, we're standing here arguing ideological differences. And we got good, valid points in the argument. But while we're arguing, time is getting away from us. And a common enemy has taken all of our valuables and ran off with them. He took them from you, he took them from B, and he ran off with them. And we're standing here arguing with each other over our ideological differences, which really pale in comparison to the value of what a common enemy has taken from both of us and ran off with. Man, my throat's back. So he would say, why not? Doesn't it make sense that we should stop arguing for a minute, join forces, and go after our common enemy? Sound good to me. Unity is required to accomplish that. We don't get that done without some unity. So I just want to say those things to you, man, and then stop doing it or trying to do it by yourself, man. Stop, man. It's not working. It just ain't, Ain't no better way to put it, man. It's not working. You got people who are already going through what you're trying to get through. And they could tell you, teach you, show you what their challenges were. And you could actually use their challenges, be they losses or gains, man, to get there with a little more efficiency. Study your lessons, man. They're available to you. It's your homeboy Fat Ratty Wall, the original Westside Playboy Gangsta Crips, man. Signing out. Y'all have a blessed one.